Did you know that Christians today are searching the internet looking for ways to grow in their spirituality? Now, most of us as Christians want to grow closer with Jesus, but we might not know how. Or maybe we've tried in the past and failed. But what if I told you that you have a way to connect with the Father that's unique to you? That's right, just for you. You see, we are all beautifully and wonderfully made in the image of Jesus, and that gives us the ability to connect with Jesus in a very special way. And it's different for every one of us. Our challenge is to try to find that way and to build our relationship with Jesus. This is part 1 of a video series on how to grow spiritually. Today I want to talk a little bit about spiritual formation. I'm not going to go deep, just going to give you a brief definition. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the ways that we are formed in our daily lives. But you may be asking yourself, well, isn't there just one way to grow in our spirituality? Well, the answer to that is no. Just as we are all unique, there are other ways to grow in our spirituality. Let's take a look at learning, for example. Some people like to read, others like to listen or watch a video, and then some people really need that hands-on demonstration in order to learn something. So we're all different, right? And then there's our personalities. Some of us are outgoing, while others of us tend to sit back and watch. So our personalities are different too, right? And then what about our life experiences? Some of us have had somewhat easy lives while others have really struggled. Well, if you take all that and more, what you find is that we are all different, we are all unique. We learn differently, we respond differently, we communicate differently, and we connect with our Father differently as well. So there is no one right way to grow spiritually. Now, if you've said that you have tried before and failed, well, I don't want you to look at it as failing. First off, 1, I'm glad you tried. I'm sorry that you failed, but I'm glad you tried. And also, you know what? I'm glad you failed, because that gives you information. And I know that sounds strange to say, but if you've never tried before, what would you have learned from it? Okay, so you've tried to grow spiritually and you failed. What did that do? First off, it laid a foundation. You planted seeds. So the desire is there. And the second thing, you found out what doesn't work for you. So that's good. Put those aside. Let's start fresh. Let's start anew. Let's figure out what works for you. So first, let me give you a definition of spiritual formation. Spiritual formation is a process, and it's where we become more like Jesus and we transform into His image. What in the world could that mean? Well, basically, it's where our lives and ourselves begin to take on the characteristics of Jesus. So when somebody looks at us, they don't see us. They see Jesus. They see His love, His caringness, His kindness, His servant attitude when they look at us. That's what spiritual formation is about. Now, 2 Corinthians 3:18 tells us that we are being transformed. I don't want that to unnerve you, because the fact is, we've been going through a transformation ever since we were born. Everything that comes into our senses, our minds, our thoughts, our words, everything that we experience transform us. Let me give you an example. You go to work. You're transformed by everything that happens there, by the people you interact with and the events that happen through the day. You go to school. You're transformed through the education and the knowledge and the information that you receive. If you were involved in some sort of accident, you were transformed, right? Everything that happened with that? Absolutely. You watch a story on the news. whether you know it or not, that story just transformed you. Our daily lives, the things that we do every single day, the people that we interact with, the words that we say, the thoughts that come with our minds, everything transforms us. Here's the question. What is transforming you? Is the world transforming you? Or is it Jesus? So when it comes to growing spiritually, you might be asking yourself, okay, so what all is this going to take? What do I need to do? Well, the first thing is that you have to have an open and a willing heart. You need to let Jesus come in and let the Holy Spirit work in you as only He can. The second thing it's going to take is time. And in this society nowadays, time is really hard to come by. So that's going to be a challenge for some people. But you need to spend time in order to go through spiritual formation and to work on your spirituality. And then the third thing that it's going to take is some spiritual disciplines, such as praying or reading the Bible. But please know, there are so many more spiritual disciplines. I just can't get into them here right now, but I will talk about them in the next video. Okay? Spiritual formation takes time, energy, and effort. It doesn't happen overnight. Now, yes, Jesus can transform people and deliver them just like this. But more times than not, it's a process. And sometimes in that process, you may go through some slow growths. You'll have fast growth and you'll have slow growth. But when you come through that slow growth, sometimes it's called a desert, that when the spiritual changes start to happen, you will not believe, and it is so worth it when you come out on the other side. Please know that as you go through spiritual formation, that there are times when it's going to be fun and uplifting, and then other times it may hurt, as those things that you've pushed behind you in your past start to come out. Or you might discover something about yourself that you didn't know before, and now it's time to deal with it. But just know Jesus is going to be there and walk you through that process every step of the way. And when you go through that challenge and you come through on the other side, it's going to be so worth it. So, what are today's takeaways? The first one is, you are unique, you are wonderfully made, and you are designed to connect with the Father in a way that only you can. The second thing is, it's your choice. You decide whether or not you want to grow spiritually. It's what Jesus wants. He wants to grow closer with you, and He wants you to transform into His image. But you have to make the choice. And the third thing is, the challenge, I should say, is that you have to find the ways that work best for you in order to connect with Jesus. Now I'll share with you some ways that I do. I love to bike ride. When I'm out on my bike, it's a sense of freedom and it's a time of quietness, and it just gives me a chance to connect with my God. Not only just through the bike riding process, but by looking at the trees and the birds and the clouds and enjoying the sunshine. I also play guitar. I don't play it very well, but I like to play guitar, and it gives me a chance to play and sing worship songs to my Lord. Again, I don't play it very well, but I do love to play it. And then also just in the quiet times in the morning, when I wake up and I'm the only one awake and it's silent and it's just a chance for me to rest in peace and to pray in the early morning hours. Those are 3 ways that I connect with my Father. There are more, but just to give you an example. So as we go through the upcoming video series, think about how you might be connecting with the Father and you didn't even realize yet, or think about ways that you can. As we go through the process on how to grow spiritually, I will tell you that everything that you need is inside your Bible. So, the challenge for now is, are you willing? Is your heart open? Do you have the time? Are you willing to put forth the time? And then finding the way that you connect best with Jesus. The next time we'll talk about spiritual disciplines. Take care.